and 50 Cent had something to say in regards to the lawsuit settlement. He commented on this post saying he paid that money real quick.
Also, 50 Penny had a remark with respect to the claim repayment. He remarked on this post, saying he paid that cash genuine fast. Ought to have done that before the sharks saw the blood in the water. And here they come in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 each lady. He put his hand on phone after the right. And be like obvious truth, they sent me the young lady pictures, like photos of his young lady. Like not this G more awful way, more terrible, wow. Are you messing with me, yo, like entrance pictures? And when we felt that we had heard the remainder of Diddy's activities, 50 Penny is presently emerging to uncover the more crazy and poisonous things that Diddy did to Cassie. It just so happens Cassie's claim didn't actually totally uncover the horrendous things that Diddy purportedly did to her. Well, 50 Penny is presently talking for her benefit, and you all, it's more regrettable than you might at any point envision, so prepare yourself. That out there, she expressed out there, for not a great explanation witness me, like kissing this by accident. You understand what I'm talking about, like I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know later, you going figure out a bit. __. I swear each time we imagine that we've heard the words about how brutal Diddy was the Cassie, some new stuff comes up that causes us to understand what is happening was way more terrible than we might at any point envision as of now. I'm beginning to imagine that Cassie cut down a ton of things in the claim on the grounds that from the things we know now, young lady, did he put her through a ton. And it simply makes me extremely upset that anybody needed to go through what he made her go through, like the subtleties in the claim were adequately awful, yet to figure out that she had persevered through more in Diddy as an antagonist. And there's no persuading me in any case I got out whatever I said. I mean, one of the main things that was said in the claim was that Diddy attempted Miss Ventura in her own home after she attempted to leave him, frequently punched, beat, kicked, and trampled Miss Ventura, bringing about wounds, burst lips, bruised eyes, and draining constrained Miss Ventura to participate in private demonstrations with males SWS while getting off on it, and recording the experiences, requested that Miss Ventura to convey his gun in her hair just to make her self-conscious and exhibit how risky he is and acquainted Miss Ventura with a way of life of exorbitant liquor and substance misuse that expected her to obtain unlawful remedies to fulfill his own addictions. The claim is additionally stalled into a few segments, and young lady, it deteriorates. With all that we read, it continued endlessly about how Diddy used to put paw on Cassie and would leave her and her face wrecked. The claim discussed 2 or multiple times where he put paws on her, like the time they were returning in the wake of going to a party with Jay-Z. Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura over and again in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He constrained her out of the vehicle on 5th Road in New York City. She was ultimately ready to flag down a taxi and get to her loft in Manhattan. There's additionally when Cassie addressed a music director in a club. Yet did he blew up that when they left the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura, driving her into an edge of the vehicle and trampling her face. When the vehicle showed up at Mr. Combs' home, Miss Ventura endeavored to take off, yet Mr. Combs followed her and continued to again kick her in the face. Miss Ventura was draining bountifully and was guided into Mr. Combs' home, where she started to hurl from the vicious occurrence. And before you all begin pondering, yes, many individuals saw him put hands on Cassie. Yet not a single one of them at any point talked up to guard her, since they were similarly as unnerved by Diddy. As she was, the claim said these beatings were seen by Mr. Combs' staff and workers of Terrible Kid Diversion and Mr. Combs' connected organizations. Yet nobody really thought about opposing their terrifying and fierce supervisor. Him putting hands on her frequently left her with wounds all over and all around her body. And obviously Diddy could never have individuals figuring out how he treated her, so he would send her to an inn or on an excursion where she could hang out without anybody seeing her until she recuperated. And the injuries cleared. Alia Banks even upheld her on this, And she said this is valid. One time, Diddy beat her up so awful he sent her on a 3-week getaway to Hawaii, just so nobody would see or address how her face got like that on the off chance that Alia Banks sting against you. You better realize that you're a Class 1 antagonist, and there are no doubt Cassie then, at that point, proceeded to discuss how Diddy would compel her to consume medications, despite her desire to the contrary, despite the fact that she demanded that she would not like NUD, till he would control and power her to consume the medications, frequently lying about the thing he was giving her. Yet that wasn't all, since she likewise guaranteed that he was dependent on torment pills. And at whatever point his legitimate inventory of agony pills ran out, he would compel her to assist him with scoring more pills. He was so fixated on holding her under his influence that he approached her clinical records, when she didn't actually approach the court report. Said on various events Mr. Combs had Miss Ventura's own clinical records sent straightforwardly to his email address. For example, when Miss Ventura started encountering cognitive decline, possibly because of unreasonable medication use, and or head wounds brought about by Mr. Combs' beatings, as depicted underneath her X-ray results, were given straightforwardly to Mr. Combs gracious. And when Cassie at long last figured out how to move away just a tad and began dating Cuddy, the court report said that Mr. Combs told Miss Ventura that he planned to explode Kid C's vehicle and that he needed to guarantee that Kid C was home with his companions when it occurred. Around that time, Kid C's vehicle detonated in his carport. Yet the most terrible piece, all things considered, was the way that Diddy used to saw her more than once in the relationship. I mean, he even constrained her to reside in lofts that he leased near his houses in LA and New York. He constrained her again and again, yet some way or another, it actually deteriorates. Cassie uncovered that Diddy used to drive her to participate in what he alluded to as oddity offs. He would drive her to go on an escort site and recruit Mo's with BBCs. And afterward, he would fly them out and afterward participate in a few truly horrendous occasions. He constrained Cassie to have closeness with the men. While he watched and got off on it, he likewise tranquilized her, said she never needed to participate in the oddity offs, and she should have been high AF to take in them. The claim, said Mr. Combs, generally provided Miss Ventura with bounteous measures of medications previously and during the foes. Miss Ventura was given happiness, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, Mary Jane, and liquor in unnecessary sums during fuss, which permitted her to disassociate during those terrible experiences. It became normal spot to get IV liquids in the days after a foe to recuperate from the unreasonable substances pushed upon her. He, in any event, went to whatever extent to record the oddity offs, and later on he would compel her to watch the recordings just to tell her that he had every relevant advantage. And he was 100% in control. He really wanted her to know her place. And by watching the oddity offs, she recollected who was in control. Yet it deteriorates on the grounds that, as per rapper 50 Penny, Diddy ventured to release the recordings of Cassie during the oddity offs, now assuming there is somebody who keeps his foot on Diddy's neck, and uncovered him. It's 50 Penny. As a rule, he's attempting to uncover Diddy for being on the DL, like the time he concealed Diddy on IG and said, "Sorry, I can never again help you all. Soon you will be in every way gay and blissful. You are presently left under the authority of Clay Daddy report to the closest rainbow." There's likewise the time he went on the morning meal club and said the Diddy was fruity. And he go when they do when he do it. He makes statements he doesn't have the foggiest idea what he's talking about is like fruity. Yet this time, it's something more significant. When the claim initially became public, 50 concealed did. He's saying sibling love, sibling love you over here, looking insane as a MF. Well, that is not all in light of the fact that in an old meeting that as of late became a web sensation again, we can hear 50 saying that Diddy was sending pictures and recordings of Cassie around on phone after the right, and be like self-evident reality. They sent me the young lady pictures, like photos of this young lady. Like not this I saw a more regrettable way, more regrettable. Wow. Are you messing with me? I like infiltration pictures. Thus, from what he said, the recordings needed to have been taken during the oddity offs that Diddy constrained her to do, yet it deteriorates, as per 50 Penny. He called Diddy to tell him continuing, and from Diddy's reaction FI, could see that Diddy was the person who had been sending the recordings around. I truly sort of felt like those photos was not happening a result of Cassie. I felt like they was going on a result of puffy right gracious wow. You know saying cuz when a young lady moved from a man and she redesigned be unreliable, you understand what I'm talking about. So Diddy was distraught that Cassie left him following 11 years of putting paws on her. He even saved her in her new loft after she left him. Yet some way or another that wasn't enough for himself, and he needed to release the recordings of oddity operations, where he tranquilized and constrained her to participate in N. Diddy. Ain't seeing the employee entryways, cause that man is on an entire another level, and to show you all the way.